Thank you for the many hours of field instruction you provided to our student of social work this year. We really appreciate it. In this narrated presentation, we hope to provide you to an overview of competency-based final evaluation that will allow you to summarize for your student his or her natural strengths, the accomplishments that they made during their time with you, and also to set their goals for the next stage of accomplishments so that they can continue to progress along the path of being a lifelong learner. Thanks for tuning in. Our final evaluation tools are based on national accreditation standards. Those standards have markedly changed in recent years, and they allow much greater clarity and precision about teaching and learning of social work. This specificity allows all parties to focus their time, energy, and resources on the most important targets of learning, competence. Although our tools are highly structured, they are not intended to replace your professional judgment, only to guide it. You are the expert in your area and in your context of practice, and we rely on you to be that expert. The tool may help you to identify specific components of student strength or where improvement is needed, but there may also be missing elements or concepts, and we encourage you to use the expandable text boxes to describe those to us. There are 5 best practices in field instruction that underlie the field education program at UC Berkeley. The first is the importance of a strong, attuned, and personalized instructional relationship for each student. The second is that relationship have a sense of educational purpose and that there be clearly identified learning and competency outcomes. Students deserve to have the opportunity to observe competent practitioners performing practice tasks, to be able to practice, and then to be able to be observed doing practice, and then given feedback that's based on observation, that is specific, that is balanced, and helps them to identify exactly what it is they're doing well and exactly what it is they could do to improve their performance. Finally, students really benefit from an opportunity to reflect, integrate, and consolidate their learning over the course of the academic year, which is the purpose of a final evaluation. In addition, your final evaluation will help them to reset goals for the future. Whenever evaluating a student or an employee, it's important to just check in with yourself about possible sources of bias. In social work, there can often be positive biases. As we're a strength-based profession, we can tend to overly inflate our appraisal of students. And I ask you to consider whether or not that is a characteristic way that you perceive and evaluate your student. Also, for some individuals, they can be overly harsh or strict, particularly if they're holding students to standards of a long-time professional versus a 2-year graduate student, or particularly if they expect the student to be like them stylistically versus to possess their own unique style of being a professional. Before beginning the evaluation process, please just check in with yourself and note whether you tend to inflate or deflate ratings, and then try to adjust accordingly. All of the final evaluation tools are available at socialwelfare.berkeley.edu under the Field Education tab, under the tab Forms, Policies, and Calendars. Please note that these forms work optimally on PC systems with a recent version of Microsoft Word. Some of these forms do not work well on Macintosh systems. Please note that there are forms for specific types of students. All first-year students complete the first-year final evaluation form. Second-year students should be evaluated on a concentration-specific form. The 5 concentration areas for our students are children and families, community mental health, gerontology, health, and management and planning. We ask you to ask your student to submit a self-evaluation to you based on the same exact form that you're using. We ask you to review the student's original learning agreement and the performance activities and tasks that they've been engaged in during the entire academic year under your instruction. Then we encourage you to review your direct observations of the student over time performing practice and gathering input from other staff and colleagues who've had an opportunity to observe the student practicing as well. It will take approximately 1 to 2 hours for you to rate the student in your first draft of the evaluation. We then encourage you and the student to come together for a devoted instructional hour to discuss the final evaluation together. Please consider their input, identify similarities in your perceptions, and also explore and discuss differing perceptions. Then you have the opportunity to finalize the evaluation, click sign it, and then to send it to your student, who will then send it forward to the School of Social Welfare. Please note that our final evaluation is based on 12 holistic competencies. These competencies, some of them are knowledge-based, some of them are value-based, some of them are skill-based. Most of them focus on the intervention cycle, engagement, assessment, intervention, evaluation, and transition. And certainly all of these competencies are looked at over the entire level of social ecology, including individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. Each holistic competency is partialized into component parts. In this example, assessment, you'll note that there are 6 component parts, each of which appears on a discrete row. If you follow the anchors across the row, one category describes improvement needed, the next, competence that's been attained, and the final, mastery, which is an unusual degree of competence for a master student to possess. Please read the descriptions carefully and check the box that best describes your student's performance as you've observed it this year in your setting. At the end of each holistic competency, there's also a global rating scale. Consider the above items, the component parts, other relevant factors, and then decide how would you rate the student's overall level of competence on a scale of 1 to 5. 3 represents competence, which is actually a great attainment for our students. 4 and above is exceptional mastery for a master's level student. 1 and 2 indicates improvements needed. Please assign a number to the nearest 0.50 increment. So that could be a 2.5, a 3, a 3.5, so on and so forth. If for whatever reason you were unable to assess this dimension in your student during this year, please just check unable to assess. This will not be held against your student or you, and in fact it will allow us to understand what kinds of competence are best assessed in field as well as those which may have greater difficulty being assessed in field. For each of the 12 holistic competencies, there are 2 expandable text boxes. These allow you to provide specific examples and descriptions of student strengths or accomplishments, as well as specific ways the student could enhance or improve their competency in this particular area. We encourage you to take the time to provide detailed and thoughtful comments. These comments mean a tremendous amount to students. They read them over and over and over again. Because of their importance and because they really want to understand how they could be better as well as what they're doing well. At the end of the form, we ask you to make an overall grade recommendation to the School of Social Welfare. Satisfactory indicates that there were no apparent problems with student learning and that all competencies appear to be attained at least minimally. Marginal competence or marginal grade indicates that you do have concerns in at least one competency area and possibly more. And this allows us to understand that there were concerns and to be able to assess those concerns with you. An unsatisfactory recommendation indicates that you have more serious concerns about student learning, performance, or competence, and that you find their performance unacceptable in one or more competency areas. If you're considering giving your student a marginal or unsatisfactory grade recommendation, we strongly encourage you to reach out to your identified field faculty member early in the process so that we can work with you to assess the student and to help you language and frame both the student's strengths and your areas of concern so that those are well balanced to promote student understanding of competency expectations. We really enjoy these kind of consultations. This is what we're here for, and we're happy to assist you in developing both your appraisal and the language that you describe your appraisal for your student. We again want to close by thanking you for the many hours of field instruction you've provided to students this year. We really appreciate all that you do. We look forward to sharing many future students with you and continuing to learn how to teach social work, how to appraise social work, and how to help social workers attain the highest level of performance during their student years and beyond. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you.